You look around at this world, and it simply doesn't make sense sometimes. Why is there so much suffering on a planet, floating in a universe that feels absolutely endless? Why are so many people pushed into survival mode, trapped in systems that grind them down, while a tiny few hoard power, wealth, and influence? If this is all just random, then truly it's a cruel accident. But if there's more to reality than what you were taught, then something very different is happening here. Imagine for a moment that what you call reality is only one layer of a much larger structure. Not a flat universe, but a multi-level, multi-frequency construct, like a cosmic building with countless floors, or a radio with thousands of stations all broadcasting at once. Most people are tuned into just one channel. When humans talk about dimensions, they often think of height, width, and depth. But in many spiritual and metaphysical traditions, dimensions also means a band of experience, a framework that determines what kind of physics, perception, and consciousness is possible. In one popular map, the physical world is considered third-dimensional. 3 axes: linear time, hard matter, and cause and effect. You wake up, move a body around, follow schedules, and interact with objects that feel solid and separate. Just above and within that are other layers: emotional, mental, astral, causal, and spiritual. These are not somewhere else in space. They interpenetrate what you already see. The dream world you visit at night, the synchronicities you notice on the edge of your awareness, the subtle energies some people sense. These are glimpses into those overlapping layers. Some teachings say there are 12 primary dimensions around this universe, each with its own sublevels. Others suggest that dimensions are effectively infinite, like a fractal that keeps revealing more detail the closer you look. From a higher vantage point, dimensions are like different menus in the same game. Switch the settings, and suddenly the rules of what's possible change. But if dimensions describe structure, then densities describe the state of consciousness. You can think of density as the degree of awareness and spiritual integration a being is operating from. First density is the realm of elements and minerals, pure existence, with no self-reflection. Second density is the awareness of plants and animals' growth, instinct, pack bonds, but no clear sense of, I am separate from you. Third density is where humans are now completing a cycle: self-awareness, ego, the illusion of isolation, the fear of death, the idea that I am this one body and nothing more. Fourth density introduces expanded feeling and group consciousness. Empathy becomes overwhelming if it isn't properly grounded. Telepathy, shared fields, and the realization that thoughts and emotions are not contained inside a skull. Fifth density is focused wisdom, clear perception without constant emotional turbulence. Sixth merges love and wisdom into unified collectives, soul families operating almost as a single being. Beyond that, densities blur into near-source awareness, where individuality and total unity are both fully understood. Beings can exist in many combinations of dimension and density at once. A civilization might have third-dimensional bodies, but a fourth-density consciousness. Another may inhabit higher-dimensional light forms, while still wrestling with ego and control in its own way. You, as a soul, are not locked to one density forever. You are playing a third-density, four-dimensional time game right now, but only a fraction of your full awareness is plugged into this avatar. The next layer out is even vaster: the question of how many universes exist. To the human mind, one universe is already overwhelming. Billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars, each with worlds, many of them lifeless, many of them not. But from a higher dimensional perspective, universe is just a container, a particular set of physics, constants, and narrative rules. Many metaphysical systems speak of a multiverse, countless universes like beads on an infinite string. Some share similarities, others are wildly alien. Some are tilted toward harmony, others burn out in self-destruction. Some are young, others are so ancient that their civilizations have ascended beyond form. From the perspective of source, whatever name you give to the ultimate consciousness, all of these universes are like different dreams in the same mind. They rise, evolve, transform, and dissolve, but the underlying awareness doesn't disappear. And fragments of that awareness explore them all, including here as you. So how does a soul that is multidimensional, multi-density, and connected to an almost limitlessly creative source end up here? On a planet where children go hungry, systems exploit the many, and trauma seems to be baked into the culture. This is where the story turns. Earth, in many esoteric frameworks, is known as a free will world in a third density curriculum. You agreed to come into an environment where you would forget most of who and what you are. You would be born into families with their own wounds. You would be inserted into societies with histories of war, oppression, and scarcity. You would be surrounded by institutions that insist this is all there is: material life, competition, survival, and maybe a vague afterlife if you're lucky. The reason for this amnesia is brutal and beautiful at the same time. Without forgetting, choice would be far too easy. If you remembered vividly that you are an eternal expression of Source, interconnected with all beings, experimenting in a temporary simulation, then cruelty would feel utterly pointless. Fear would dissolve as soon as it arose. Manipulation would fail because you couldn't be tricked into believing you are less than what you truly are. So, a veil. Inside that veil of forgetfulness, a second layer formed: control systems. Over long stretches of time, certain groups, human and non-human, incarnate and non-physical, learned how to exploit the rules of this density. They discovered that when masses of people are kept in fear, shame, and division, they become easy to steer. Resources can be hoarded, information can be filtered, entire populations can be locked into survival mode. You see this expressed through economies that require constant debt and scarcity, so that most people trade their life energy just to keep a roof overhead. Media and narratives that cycle fear, outrage, and distraction, keeping nervous systems overstimulated and exhausted. Trauma passed down through generations, abuse, war, neglect, creating internal conditions that match the external prison. Religions, ideologies, and belief systems that insist you are inherently flawed, small, or unworthy, without an external authority to save you. On top of this, some metaphysical perspectives describe parasitic or predatory entities that feed on the emotional energy those systems produce, not necessarily in a cartoonish, monster under the bed way, but as subtle, energetic ecosystems. Low-frequency fields, thought forms, and beings that are nourished by hatred, terror, despair, and conflict. This doesn't make humans helpless. It does mean that the game is more complex than simply bad people doing bad things. There are entire frequency structures invested in keeping consciousness from remembering its power. This is why it can feel like you are being used, abused, and kept in the dark, because, in many ways, you are. Not as a cosmic joke, but as part of a very old pattern. Control systems trying to extend their lifespan by keeping souls looping through the same wounds, life after life. And yet, even inside this, something else is happening. You are living in a transitional era where the boundaries between densities are thinning. Third, density structures are cracking. Fourth, density. Emotional fields are flooding in intensifying everything. Fifth, density insight is leaking through your dreams, downloads, synchronicities, and sudden aha moments. When enough beings on a planet begin to question the story, the frequency of that world starts to shift. The control systems tighten for a while, more distraction, more fear, more manufactured crises, because they are losing their hold, but they are still bound by the same universal laws. They cannot override free will at the deepest level. They can only influence it, trick it, numb it, or buy it. The most dangerous thing to any control grid is not a weapon or a riot or a law. It is a human being who starts to remember that consciousness is not created by the brain. The brain is more like a receiver. Thoughts and emotions radiate out into the field and attract matching experiences. Healing personal trauma changes not only your inner life, but your timeline. Choosing integrity, empathy, and courage in small ways every day actually shifts the collective frequency, even if no one applauds. In a reality made of frequencies and densities, every time you move from fear to presence, from self-hatred to self-acceptance, from helplessness to I will at least try, you are not just improving your mood, you are climbing one rung of the density ladder. You are making it slightly easier for others to do the same. There may be 12 dimensions, or countless more. There may be 7 primary densities, or a spectrum too fine-grained to number. There may be one universe, or infinite universes. What matters, right now, is not memorizing the map. What matters is recognizing that this is not all there is. You are not a mistake, trapped in a meaningless prison. You are an aspect of a vast multidimensional consciousness, temporarily immersed in one of the hardest levels of the game. Yes, there are forces that profit from your confusion and your pain. Yes, there are structures built to keep you small, but none of them are bigger than what you truly are. The moment you begin to suspect that, the moment you act from that, knowing even a little you are already breaking the spell. And in a universe woven from frequency. Every spell that breaks lets a little more light in for everyone.